You're watching the 2019 SCAC Fall Media Days. It's day 2, and we're jumping in to the Schreiner University cross country program. The Mountaineers are coming off an 8th place finish in the men's championship a season ago. The women, a 7th place finish at the SCAC championships. The Mountaineers will be led as they head into the season by head coach Kendall Luy, along with junior Joseph Diaz on the men's side and senior Jessica Gaines on the women's side. Coach, Joseph, Jessica, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach, we'll begin with you. You transition into your new role as the head coach of the cross-country program there. How has that transition been, and what's been the biggest challenge for you coming into the 2019 season?
The transition has been pretty good, and a lot of that has to deal with some of the seniors, upperclassmen we have on the team who have helped make that transition as easy as possible. One of the biggest challenges is probably the fact that, I'm taking over the program. I've never been, the head cross-country coach, and so there's going to be challenges trying to get the student athletes on board with my coaching style and my approach to how we're going to train. I think will be the biggest challenge because it's someone new, someone that they're not used to in terms of distance training.
Joseph, for you now entering your junior year, how excited are you to get back with your teammates, be back in preseason camp? I know over the summer as you train and get prepared for a new year, some of those miles can be difficult when you're by yourself, but to finally be back with your teammates, how exciting is that, and what's your favorite part of preseason?
My favorite part of preseason is just working with my teammates and getting back into the rhythm of running again and increasing that mileage. And now we have a new coach, a coach that's amazing and works with us well and is just amazing in general and knows how to coach as well.
Jessica, for you as a senior heading into your final fall camp, what's it been like taking on that leadership role as one of the senior leaders with this group, especially through the transition? And for you, how excited are you to get started and be back with your teammates?
I'm really excited to see what happens this season and see what everybody brings to the table. I think it's going to be a great season no matter what, because I know everybody's going to put their best foot forward. In a leadership position, I've been kind of working towards this since my freshman year. I've really been there for my teammates from day one, and I've tried to let them all know that if they need something, I'm their go-to. There's even a nickname on the team for me that's pretty much Mama Jess. I've got them, and I know they've got me too. So stepping into this leadership position isn't something I'm afraid of, and I think it's going to go really well.
Coach, we talked about that transition. Obviously, you moving from being the head track and field coach to now also being in charge of this cross-country program. Does it make it a little bit easier having been around some of these distance runners during the track season, having kind of already known some of the personalities? And for you, what are the biggest mindset changes you have to make as a coach going from the track and field program to now the cross-country program?
I definitely think having worked with some of them during track season, I think it was good for both the student athletes and myself because it's not like they're coming in with this new coach, they don't know what to expect. They knew how I was in the track season, so they knew my expectations on the track, off the track. And my expectations, I would say, are about the same as they were during track season, now in cross country. I think the biggest thing is just trying to change, just trying to, especially those that have been here, that were here with the previous coach, trying to get them to understand that the training is not going to necessarily be the same as it was, and I think that's going to be the hardest thing, and that's trying to change their mindset a little bit about that. I'm not going to go drastically off course of what was done previously, but there are going to be some different changes, and right now we've talked about that. They all seem to be buying into that. I think some of the upperclassmen, those that were here previously, I think I think that they're willing to, listen to what I have to say. It's always different, especially when they're used to me coaching sprints and throws. Distance is very different than those events. So I think there might be a little bit of hesitation on their part, which is understandable. But if I can just show them that, I know what I'm doing, just like they have to show me that they know what they're doing. I think that's the biggest thing.
Joseph, what motivates you as a runner? To me, one of the most impressive things about cross-country athletes is the amount of self-discipline it takes to make sure you're prepared for each season. We talked about that preparation in the summer and the base mileage. You're coming off a sophomore season, which you finished 48th at the SCAC championship. So what continues to motivate you as an athlete?
I think my teammates, most importantly. We have some freshmen coming in. They're right on my tail. So as well as the upperclassmen, as well as the juniors and seniors. I mean, just being back with my team is what motivates me the most, and hopefully come back with a better placing at conference, and as well as team placing at conference.
Jessica, we talked before coming on. You battled an injury last season that unfortunately left you out of the final 3 meets. Talk about kind of coming back through that injury, how excited you are to be back with your teammates, and what did your summer workout program look like as you prepared for your senior year and coming off that injury last year?
Again, I'm really excited to see what can happen this season, where our team can go. At the beginning of the summer, I talked with coaches, athletic trainers, and everything. Just was really concerned about, am I going to be able to come back this season? Is it a good idea for me to come back this season? And we talked, and we agreed actually that I would take most of the summer to kind of just rest and do physical therapy and recovery kind of things. And I did a lot of different kinds of cross training this summer, really. Everything very low impact for my knee, and everything very endurance based, but very low impact. And coming back into the preseason, my knee's holding up great. I'm having great practices. I feel really good about the season.
Coach, can you speak to the kind of overall mentality when it comes to cross-country running? One of the things I really love and appreciate is it is a total team effort. You can have a top in 1 or 2 runners, but those 4 and 5 spots in your lineup can make a total difference when it comes to the overall team place, and those points become so precious. How do you kind of cultivate that atmosphere and make sure that you guys are sort of trying to minimize that gap between 1 and 5 throughout the course of a race?
I think one of the things that we try to do is to try and cultivate the team atmosphere, because it is, like you said, a lot of people see it as very individually based competition. So one of the things I really like to do is get the team, they do all their warming up together. I try to, and it's a little hard right now because we're only a couple days into our season, but one of the things I like to do is I like to see where people are at. So Joseph, and we have a freshman who our freshman's kind of running right on the tail of Joseph, and I think they will end up being really good for each other. So I'm really big on having accountability partners, and I usually will try to get them to pace each other in practices. And one of the things we'll do is I may set a pace where Joseph runs faster for the one workout, and then the next day I'll have our freshman Marco run a little bit faster for Joseph, and I'll do that with all of our runners, even our ones that may not be even our top 5, but maybe in the top 8, top 9. I really try to have them push each other. They do a really nice job of that themselves. For instance, yesterday we just did a time trial, and some of our people finished and there were still a couple people running, and the ones that were going and doing their cool down were actually, as they're doing their cool down, running and cheering each other on. And so I think that alone, that helps push each other's teammates. And for me, that's really nice to see as a coach, because you can, especially in cross country and in track and field, you can really see how people can become more individual and not worry about their teammates. And I think we're starting to see our team, especially with the freshmen, I'm starting to see a really good team atmosphere, and I think that'll continue. And I'll continue to get them to do their working out together, both men and women. I haven't really focused much on the women right now, but I think it's good we have the women train with the guys, and I think that's a very good thing for the women. I think that pushes them, and it pushes our guys too, because some of our guys are like, oh man, I don't want the women to beat me. I think it's just it helps push both of them.
To wrap things up with both the athletes, Jessica and Joseph, as you look ahead to this season in 2019, and you've had some discussions with your teammates, what are some of the goals you have for both of your teams, and what will be key to accomplishing those goals here in the upcoming year?
I think that pretty much going into this season with a new head coach and some really good talent coming in at the freshman level, I think we really just want to build a great team and keep building on what we've been trying to do lately. But with a new head coach, I think we're really going to be able to reach some new levels and reach some new heights. And I think that goal-wise, I'm not sure where we're going to end up, but I really know that we're going to do well and we're going to push each other and we're going to fight for every step and fight for every place all season long.
And as Jess mentioned, we have a new coach. She's strong-willed and she's brave and stuff like that. We have a good freshman class, and I have high expectations for both the women and the men's side, especially the freshmen that are right there. I expect us to have good placing at conference and as well as other meets. Very, very high expectations this upcoming season.
And well, Coach, we'll finish with this as we start on a new chapter in Schreiner Mountaineers cross country here. What are your expectations for you going into the first year of your regime? What can people that support this Mountaineers cross country programs expect to see from these teams, regardless of the results, meet in and meet out?
That's a really good question. What I would like for them, or what I expect, is to see our team work really well as a team together. And the other thing, one of the big things for me is I just want to be able to see the team get better each race. I want to try to avoid some injuries. That's not always going to happen, but if we can try to avoid as many injuries as possible, I think that's good. And I want to continue, each year to lower our team score. I don't want to be finishing 8th place. I want to be finishing top 5. And I'm not saying that's going to happen this first year, but hopefully this first year will set the precedence for that to happen in the next couple years. So I think people who are following the program, both men's and women's cross countries, I think one of the things that they can expect is to see our men and women start climbing in the ranks in the conference.
The Schreiner University cross-country programs, the Mountaineers will once again be led as they head into the season by head coach Kendall Luy, along with junior Joseph Diaz on the men's side and senior Jessica Gaines on the women's side. The Mountaineers will open up competition in 2019 on August 30th when they head over to the Hardin-Simmons University Invitational. Coach, Joseph, Jessica, thanks so much for your time today, and best of luck as you head into the season.
Thank you.
Thank you.